Hey now, it's Sharon, and I'm back to share another idea on how we can better police here in the US. If you're new to the channel, I'm a retired detective. I worked for 20 years for a southeastern city in the US, and I was also in the military. I'm sharing my ideas, thoughts, opinions on how we can better policing. But you know what? I'm not even going to talk about that directly. This whole thing with Charlie Kirk, this last week has been on my mind, and I'm going to keep it quick. This time last week, Mr. Kirk was alive. He was being a father, he was being a husband, he was being a friend to his friends, he was being a son to his parents, and he was also being a racist online. And the reason why I say that is I see all the fighting about why bring up his own words in his tragic death. Now, he should not have been killed for his ideas. He shouldn't have been killed for that. No way. Maybe punch in the mouth, but not killed. So that's what I'm saying. Please understand. But the other part, the fact that people are upset that other people are either rejoicing in his death or they're not feeling anything. You can't make people mourn for someone that they see as being racist or being awful. You're not going to make the person mourn. You're not going to change their mind. Just like I'm probably not going to change your mind with what I say. I'm not trying to change your mind. I'm just sharing. But he was an awful individual, and he shouldn't have been shot. Those two things can be true at the same time. For me, by his words, I didn't know him personally, never met him. I haven't even set eyes on him physically. But I've tried to give Charlie Kirk so many different times just to listen to him and see his perspective. And I never came back feeling like he's looking out for me or he's trying to bring us together, so to speak. Being a brown female, because black, I don't like saying black, but a brown female, 55, and he's 31, white male. I tried to listen. I tried to get his perspective and try to see it from his point of view. And I do understand, but I don't agree. Especially, his ideas about black women and things like that. Those were hurtful and hateful words. And I feel like a lot of people are getting upset because they're not mourning his loss. I don't mourn the loss. I don't. I feel sorry for his wife and kids, definitely. And for him, because again, he shouldn't have been killed for this ideology that he has. But do I feel like, wow, that's incredible, and it shouldn't have happened. That's what I feel. But Mr. Kirk's words, even on a spiritual level, as much as I try to share my faith, your words have power. Your words come back to you. And now his wife and his children are left to deal with all that his words have conjured up. From the hate to the love. I'm sure he loved on people, said loving things to other people. His wife and his kids have to deal with all of that. They're going to deal with it. They feel the heaviness of it, or they will feel the heaviness, because his words, when it concerned me or different groups, were hateful and heavy and violent. And that's the thing I think bothers me the most, because I can't, and neither can Mr. Kirk, I can't predict how my words are going to land on people's ears. But I can make sure that it's not deliberately tearing down somebody. It's not deliberately hurting people. And I try to be conscious of that, But Mr. Kirk, he did the stereotypical myths and lies, and it just made it hard to listen to him. And then the whole empathy thing, I find that a lot of white males don't have empathy. And that's just my opinion. I worked with a lot of them at work. And with this recent murder, some of them online, it's just, they just show their true colors, you know. So I just say that. But as a white male, I ask the questions in other videos. And I'll say this book right here, My Middle Eastern Conflict, Looking Back at My Future, I think white males should read this. Start with part 3 first, and then start at the beginning of the book. White male Christians. I really think you'll benefit from this book, because it seems like you guys find it very hard to put yourself in another's place. And you say you're Christian. And the golden rule, the second golden rule, is to treat others better than yourself. Look out for people better than yourself. I'm summarizing, of course. And it seems like white males, not all, because I haven't met all, this issue of you being sympathetic and being able to put yourself in other people's places, Mr. Kirk, I didn't see that in him. I didn't hear it from him. Thus, that's why I think he said some of the things he said. But my faith won't let me rejoice in his death. No way. My faith won't let me do it. But coupled with history and knowing who I am, won't allow me to do it either. And I think those that follow him, do they truly know their history? Do they know the history, the true history of the United States? We've been fed myths and lies. Do they know it? Because I think if Mr. Kirk knew and truly dove into history, true history, I don't think he would have said some of the things he said. He would have had a second thought, if he cared to. Because guess what? He has left his wife and children behind to deal with the backlash from his words. That's something to think about. He was here last week. This time he was here. And now he's not. I saw his wife. I listened to what she had to say the other day. Okay. But now the pressure, she has to deal with her husband's death, raising these kids, and then everything else that's coming at her because of his words. His words. People try to flip it and make it seem like, oh, you should put that to the side and just mourn or not say anything at all. We all know Charlie wouldn't have done that. Mr. Kirk wouldn't have done that. But yeah, again, I think white males, you need to read this. Look at the picture. Look at the title. Start at part 3. Oh, I made some notebooks for you too if you want to take some notes. That's there. I even have a vision coloring book. I even have a journal notebook, because working with a lot of white guys, it doesn't seem like they do that self-check. There's a lot of self-talk that you guys do that I noticed working with you guys, and it's a lot of negative self-talk. You could hear it in the body cam video of, I forgot the lady's name, I apologize, the one that was shot in the face just recently by the officer. I don't remember her name, but when you listen to the body cam, and he's, oh hell, and he's talking to himself, a lot of negative self-talk. And I experienced that with other white officers that I worked with. They would mumble, you'll hear them talking. And to me, I started to do it, and then I had to go inside myself and figure out what was going on, and why didn't I care for white men and white Jesus. I talk about that in other videos. But I said I was going to keep it short. I'm going to keep it short. I do believe Charlie Kirk had a right to live. Because he had different ideas, he shouldn't have been murdered. But by his words, he was an awful person. Those two things can be true at the same time. I don't rejoice in his death. But yeah, white males, I'm not saying all, but I know a good few. It just seems like you guys don't know how to go inside of yourself and put yourself in other people's shoes for a hot second and sympathize. That's just my opinion, my experience. You can like, comment, definitely comment. I care to know your perspective. Share, subscribe. Take a look at the online store. The link is in the description. All those books that I just showed you can be found on lulu.com. That's LULU.com under the Religion and Spirituality tab. And I'll come back next week, hopefully with better ideas and not so sad ideas, as is our tradition. You don't necessarily have to go through a thing to learn from it. Talk to you later. Bye.